What year did Psycho come out? Was it 1960,
It
Justin?
was indeed 1960.
Let's talk about it, shall we? The film that really, to this day, scares the hell out of people. Psycho.
Honestly, yeah, like this, even though I know the shower scene by heart,
Yeah.
um, movie still scares me because there are other scares in this movie, and in my opinion, maybe not as iconic as the shower scene, but got me more. Um, Not to mention, this is one of the few films that really started to weaken the Hayes moral code,
Mm.
um, which didn't technically go away completely until 1968. But this film was critical to chiseling away the strength of the Hayes Code. Um, in this movie, there's a lot of firsts. This
Hmm.
is one of the first times you get the lead character in the movie killed in the first half. Um, it's the first time you see a toilet flush in a movie. You see blood and sensual. There are sensual scenes in this movie. A very complex villain, which, if anyone knows the Hayes Codes, that's pretty hard to pull off because the Hayes Code had to be like, no, heroes had to be heroes, villains had to be villains. There's no gray area. There's
Justin, for simpletons like myself, um, okay, for people who don't understand the Hayes Code, would you mind explaining it?
okay. So
Here comes the film professor hat.
in 1932, to address all of the unacceptable behavior being portrayed on screen in film, um, a lot of it in like horror movies, such as Freaks or even Frankenstein, where Dr. Frankenstein's portrayed as having this god complex. Um, the production code is set for movies essentially created these set of codes that were based on moral standards that all films had to abide by in order to get approved and distributed. Among these codes, if you give me 1 second, I'm going to look them up.
Justin's going to look that up for a minute there. He's going to look up what we got for the Hayes Code.
Ba, ba, ba.
Oh, I got some here. I got some here.
Oh, what do you got?
Go right ahead, Bill.
Oh no, wait, that's the don't and be careful from 1927. Never mind. Let's see. I'm looking.
Okay.
You got it?
General principles included lowering the moral standards of those who've seen it. Um, Basically, you can't wrongly influence a specific audience of views, including women, children, lower class, and those of susceptible minds. Call for depictions of the correct standard of life. And lastly, forbade a picture to show any sort of ridicule towards a law or creating sympathy for its violation. Second part was a set of particular applications, which was an exacting list of items that could not be depicted, such as homosexuality, the use of specific curse words, um, let's see here. The notion of an adults only policy would be a dubious and ineffective strategy that would be difficult to enforce. However, it did allow that mature minds may easily understand and accept without harm subject matter in plots which does younger people positive harm. Basically, all movies have to be for general audiences. Um, you couldn't criticize religion, you couldn't criticize the law, you had to portray good as good, you had to portray as bad as bad.
So no nuances.
No nuance. Interracial relationships weren't allowed. It was a very restrictive. No drug use or portraying drugs as good. It was really conservative America controlling what could be shown on in film. You think the FCC is bad? The Hays Code was probably worse. And Psycho is one of the first movies that really challenged the Hays Code and eventually got approval. And it led to the Hays Code being weakened, which would be a trend continuing into the 60s until its eventual abandonment for the MPAA, the Motion Pictures Association of America, which created the rating system we know today: G, PG, and R. Bill, I know you're going to ask the question. Go ahead and ask it.
What question is that?
What about PG-13?
I know the answer. You know the answer. Everybody with half a brain knows the answer.
Da, 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 da.
Can I answer the question, Justin?
Go ahead.
PG-13 was not established until the 1980s, which we will talk about next week. You thought I was going to go on some big long speech about Gremlins, didn't you?
We'll save that for next week, folks.
And yes, don't forget my big long speech next week. But anyway, what was I saying?
Oh, X was also a rating too, but that was rarely ever used because X-rated movies rarely ever get released.
Yeah, here was he was basically to categorize it: G, children; PG, children with parents; R, adults; X, guys in sketchy alleyways that go to movie theaters after midnight.
Not quite.
Okay.
You see, today, yes, G would be for children, little children at that. But back then, G really did mean general audiences. Like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is a G-rated movie.
Yes, it is, and it scared the crap out of us.
Yes, it did.
That's hard to believe. Like, we can talk about that too later.
Yes, we will. It wasn't until like something we're going to talk about next week, PG-13 come around, that G started being used for movies for younger and younger children because PG became that new standard. PG was parental guidance. It means there is stuff in this movie that your kids might not be ready for.
Ooh, you know?
It's edgy, isn't it?
back in the 70s and 80s. Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure The Graduate was PG.
And we'll talk about that in a bit. But staying on Psycho for a second, I haven't really watched the full thing, but you know what I really like? The trailer.
Oh, trailer's great. For those of you who don't know, who've never watched the trailer, I suggest you go out and watch it. It's basically Alfred Hitchcock going all around the Bates Motel and explaining how there's been a terrible murder there.
I just love how it's just the music.
With the
Hello.
most whimsical music you can imagine.
And
yeah.
then this. Hello, my name is Alfred Hitchcock. We're at this house where a murder has been committed. And then the music just goes, and then he's walking, but he's not. The funniest thing is he's not putting anything into his voice. He just talks in that weird British monotone.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going into this room now. Oh no, I can't. It's too horrible to describe.
I think when Bill and I did our top 10 movie trailers back in January or February of 2022, I actually brought this up as one of my favorite trailers of all time because it's 6 minutes of just him just motzing around the Bates Motel. And at the very end, it's like the ending of it's like the shower scene where Janet Leigh's like, I think that's it. For those you don't know, I'm a trailer nut. I watch trailers a lot.
He's got a whole movie list. He's got a whole YouTube list of them, folks.
500 movie trailers in one playlist. I'm not kidding.
Yeah. God, man.
It's great background. It's great background noise in the background. I'm not even kidding. It's great. No, but in all seriousness, though, like with the trailer point of view, they do raise a good point, though. Like for Psycho, let's be real, guys. It was, you're right, though. The music's very up, but the tone is very like dark, and I would say dark, but just like suspenseful, mysterious, and it hits the right notes. What was I gonna say? I just lost my train of thought for a second there. With the Psycho thing. But Psycho was like, just if you've never seen it, watch it once in your lifetime. Then I'm not talking about the
Bates
Vivian
Motel.
No, not Bates Motel. What was they did a remake with Vince Vaughn? No.
Oh God, no.
No. If you want to get to know
God,
cinema
no.
and you want to get to know really solid, one of the greatest directors of all time, Alfred Hitchcock, please watch Psycho. It's probably his best movie, arguably. So, but yeah, Psycho. A lot has been said there for Psycho from 1960.